And welcome back to the Bloated Chef. Hey, before we get started here, let's do us a favor. Find us on YouTube. That would be the Bloated Chef LLC. Go ahead and click that like button. While you're there, please smash down on that subscribe button. We're heading towards 1,000 subscriptions. Trying to do some nice charity work when we get there. And while you're there, share as well. We thank you. Welcome back to the big board. It's a Whimsical Wednesday. I'm going to start this Whimsical Wednesday out with some nice looking smoked sausage. I've got some croissant dough ready to go. I've got seasonings. I got fixings for honey mustard. We're going to take a pig in a blanket and turn it into a pig in a scarf. We could also call it pig on a stick because that's what we're going to do first. We're going to take about a 12-inch skewer. Those are about 7 to 8 inch sausages. So you want to make it so you have about the even amount of skewer on either end. All right. Next up, we take a little boning knife or a fillet knife. Go very gently. Just roll the sausage until you feel like you're hitting the wood. And keep twisting and gently sawing. Twisting and gently sawing. Start building those grooves. Now then, we want to kind of gently pull and tug on each end until we can spread open those grooves a little bit, because that's where we're going to fit in our puff pastry dough. Time for everybody's favorite, the smash and grab. Seems to be working in San Francisco anyways. One tip with this, when you're working with this pre-made croissant and puff pastry, keep it in the freezer for about 30 minutes before you plan to use it. That way it's easy to roll off and the pieces will separate for you like so. Now then, just very gently and very simply, take that fatter end, start rolling it, start twisting it, like so. Roll them all the way out until you feel like you have enough length to cover the sausage. From here, we'll finish out our last little roll of dough, and now we just quite simply start inserting it and rolling it in between the grooves. Very gently. You want to try to keep that puff pastry all in one piece. You can get down to the bottom and double it up if you need to. Give it a little pinch towards the center, and booyah! We're ready to go. Alright, having already done a couple two tree in advance, and the magic of television, in we go onto a sheet tray. Take a little bit of egg wash and just lightly brush the puff pastry dough. You don't really need to get the sausage. It's not going to hurt either. Alright, a couple finishing touches here. We'll do a nice outer crust of fresh cracked pepper, a wee bit of the old sea salt, and I got some fresh chopped chives. Go ahead and give that for some greenery for that scenery. Into an oven, 425 preheated for 8 minutes. In the meantime, honey mustard. Pretty simple. Mayo, right? Mustard. Huh? Yeah, honey. In this case, cayenne honey. You know I can't just make everything normal. There goes a little junganoo sauce. We're going to make this a very kicked up honey mustard sauce. In we go with some red wine vinegar to post a little acidity, cut through all that richness. Heavy dose of cracked pepper and a light pinch of salt. We'll end the rest of those chives in there. And we're good to go. Honey mustard. And a mere 8 minutes later, look at these bad boys. Or girls. What do you think? I'm liking this. I think I'm going to stick with the name Pigs in a Scarf. Let's get into this and get a little gander at what this tastes like. Yeah, back for seconds. That's usually a good sign. Alright, one down, 2 more to go. Time for a quick break. Well, now I've often been told if you're having a rough day, just pour yourself a nice glass of neat bourbon or on the rocks. Light up a nice big cigar and take a puff. If that doesn't work, repeat the process. Next Whimsical, we have a box of a very well-known restaurant chain's biscuit mix. Okay, for the sake of argument, let's just say it rhymes with Fred Hobster. Okay? We also have some 100% Russian, real authentic fake crab meat. We got some scallions, some cheddar cheese, some butter. We've got the seasoned pack from Fred Hobster's. cheddar Scray biscuit mix. We're going to smash these together, stuff them, Cheddar Bay biscuits stuffed with crab. Moving right along, we'll go ahead and execute the recipe pretty much on the box to the T. Well, there goes some scallions, so I guess we're not going to execute the recipe to the T. But this is the Bloated Chef after all, and we go off the rails. Now there goes a full cup of cheddar cheese. Well, I know he calls for half, and you know the rest of that cheese is getting put in too, right? Of course it is. So next up, we take that butter we melted on the stove. We add the seasoning pack, which is basically like an Old Bay seasoning, if you will. But then again, we're going to add Old Bay anyways. Again, so we're not following the recipe. We're using it as more of a guideline. Now we get that mix mixed up. So nice and thick and pasty. All right, that looks about right. Now onto our most expensive item, the beluga caviar of fake crab meat. All right, we're going to chuck those into chunks because each one of these is going to get smashed into each one of our little biscuits. How's that sound? But before that happens, I'm going to do a little mild poaching, even though it's already cooked, in the nice Old Bay butter, if you will. Give that a few seconds on low heat. Come back and check in about 5 minutes and we should be good to go. Next up, onto a lined and sprayed cookie sheet, we will take about a 2-ounce ice cream scoop, a number 40 scoop to those of you in the industry. All right, make sure you keep that scoop and your hands eventually wet and moist so the dough and the batter does not stick. We'll just go ahead about laying them out. We have got them done now. Get your thumb wet each time. Get your thumbprint right in the middle of those because in goes our beluga of caviar fake crab meat. Who cares? It tastes good, doesn't it? All right, now go back over the top, wet your fingers, start pinching those tops off. Shape's not really going to matter because it's all going to turn into a nice looking biscuit, but do the best you can with that. And finishing up biscuit number 12, preset our oven for 425 degrees. In they go for 16 to 18 minutes according to the box. So 17 minutes later, out they come and oh yeah! And now this move here makes these a ridiculously good treat. I'm going to take all that seasoned butter with a little bit of crab flavoring, the beluga of caviar crab, and we're just going to baste these, if not drown them in that. And then just for the heck of it, why not? We got a little bit of cheese left. Let's make it a nice little melted topping there. What do you think? Are you with me? I think we're right. There we go. All right, now we're ready. Oh, wait, what's he doing? Oh, going for the showstopper. The wow factor. One more little cube of caviar crab right on top. You can just stick it right back in the oven, which is off, and that will melt that perfectly. Look at these bad boys. I think these are just about right. Let's get into one. All right, this is looking good. Let's check that bottom. Nice coloration. Gonna have a nice crunchy bottom, a nice flaky interior. There's that big old chunk of crab. Melted cheese. Let's get into this real quick, shall we? All right. Ooh, look. A close-up. Down it goes. Oh, not bad. Not bad for a fat guy. Half a biscuit in one bite. Something tells me he's going to dig. Oh, there's another one. Yeah, that looks good. All right, it is definitely time to repeat this process. I am a little on the whipped side. But of course, I can't get any damn space. Look at these clowns.
Yeah, it's the same.
And finally on to Whimsical number 3, and possibly my favorite of the Whimsicals. I've got a bowl of old shredded potatoes. I've got a old zucchini. I have breadcrumbs, eggs, cheddar cheese, horseradish, mustard, seasonings, hot sauce. We are going to make a whimsical version of cheddar cheese stuffed zucchini tater tots. Yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. All right, let's get this maintenance out of the way first, shall we? We'll shred that zucchini. We already have a bowl, half a bag of about a half a pound of shredded potato mix that was basically frozen. Now we will have to squeeze the living crap out of these because they're both soaking wet. Having done so, we'll add a teaspoon of horseradish, teaspoon of Dijon mustard, teaspoon of lemon pepper. That's 1 egg for now. We're going to mix that in and see what our consistency's like. There goes a little bit of that shredded cheddar cheese. All right, now then, after rethinking my plan, put it in a bigger bowl, dummy. Now we can throw the breadcrumbs in. That's about a half a cup. In with some salt. Also a fairly good amount of black pepper, freshly ground, of course. And finally, about a half a teaspoon of some hot sauce of your choice. Okay, now we get to mixing. All right, we've got our egg in there. We're going to check to see what our consistency's like before we decide to put that second egg in. You should have a moist mixture. You can almost hear it. It's kind of a feel thing. Pick it up with your hands and give it a squeeze. Kind of holds together. Let's give it the old against the bowl trick. That looks to be about right. You can almost hear it. Okay, on to the tot making. All right, we've got a 1 ounce scoop now, also called a number 30 scoop to those in the industry. And we'll scoop those out one by one right along the line. Now, to really appreciate the artisan work in making these tater tots, you've got to look into the Mediterranean, into Italy. You've really got to go back 100, or you can just watch a shitload of diners, drive-ins, and dives and crap like that. Here's what you do. Take that little ball, you roll it out till it looks like a little mini log, form the edges into squares, make it look like a tater tot. We all know what they look like, right? Just do it. Behold them in all their splendor. All right, snatch them out, put them in the freezer for about 30 minutes. Meanwhile, we've preheated some oil in a 325-degree fryer. We're going to drop 4 or 5 in here. We're not going to crowd the oil right away. We want that inside to cook kind of at the same rate that the outside cooks. So you get, boom, nice browning, and you also get crispy, but you also still have a nice moist interior, okay? And as with any fried items, season immediately. I use a little granulated garlic. Now we can go ahead and safely drop the rest of those in. Give them a quick shake, make sure they're not sticking, and about 4 to 5 minutes later, they're done. We will give these 3 to 4 quick minutes at 400 degrees, and now we're ready to try. Listen to this. Listen to that crunch. Yeah, winner, winner, tater tot dinner.